We have a moral responsibility to expose the evil of Epstein, and everybody was involved in that. Absolutely. And we're resolved to do it. But we also have an equal moral responsibility to protect the innocent. And that is a fine needle to thread. And we could all give ourselves easy political cover and come out and do something in a haphazard fashion, but I would not be able to sleep at night because I know our legal responsibility. I understand what the legal standard is, but more than that, the moral standard, okay? So we're going to do this, and we're going to do it expeditiously. We're going to do it the right way. What is popular isn't always right, and what is right isn't always popular. I had an 8th grade teacher tell me that one time. I carried it with me my whole life. We're going to do the right thing here. And the American people at the end will see that we did that in the right way and on the right timetable.
Could we be one step closer to actually seeing the Epstein files? It's looking that way.
Plus, the breaking news tonight, Democrats securing the final push they need to force a vote on the release of the Epstein files. As Democrat Adelita Grijalva wins the special election in Arizona's 7th congressional district.
So, okay, up front, I have to say that personally, I would actually be very surprised if we ever got to see the files, and I would love to be surprised. I'm not saying that we shouldn't keep fighting for the release of these files, but even with this news that I'm about to tell you about, I'm just saying that they're just going to keep dragging this thing out for as long as they possibly can. They do not want these files released to the public, but the victims deserve justice, and the American people deserve to know exactly who their leaders and who their idols are, and we as a nation deserve to know what is going on in our country and what is being done to our women and children. So in Arizona, a special election just sent Adelita Grijalva to the U.S. House, and with her election, Representatives Thomas Massie and Khanna now have the 218th signature that they need for their petition to force leadership to hold a vote to release the Epstein files. So yes, this is just a petition to force a vote. The vote can go either way at that point, but this is still a very important step to the end that we are all seeking. Grijalva is taking over the seat that has been vacated by her late father, who passed away from cancer earlier this year. She ran against Republican candidate Danielle Gutierrez, who had run against her father and lost by 26 points. For the record, Gutierrez did say that he would have signed the petition as well, so either way, we would have had the votes that we needed. Grijalva, however, won't be sworn in until October. And not that it matters at this point, I guess, but I know here in Houston, we do have a vacant seat in the House that will be filled later this year. Unless there is some strange election shenanigans, and let's be real, there might be, the seat will be filled by a Democrat, and I can't imagine that any of the candidates currently in the race would be unwilling to support the release of the files. There is another vacancy for a Republican seat in Tennessee, but those special elections won't be held until November and December of this year, respectively. But Grijalva understands that the files are important to her constituents and to the American people because they told her so. She said that while she was on the campaign trail, the issue of the files has definitely come up. She said, "We are hearing from voters that they believe the survivors deserve justice, and Congress must fulfill its duty to check the executive branch and hold Trump accountable." Yeah, if Congress would do that, that would be great. I know we would all really appreciate it if Congress actually did its job and provided those checks and balances that we keep hearing about on both the judicial and executive branches of government. Still, even with all of the required votes, there is no guarantee that this petition will get the desired results. From CNN, discharge petitions historically have a bad track record of actually forcing a vote on the floor, mostly because lawmakers in the majority are wary of taking a stand against leadership. The Epstein issue, however, has animated some Republican members, with Trump allies like Representatives Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, Lauren Boebert of Colorado, and Nancy Mace of South Carolina signing onto the petition. While few Republicans have backed the effort to force a vote, a number have expressed support for the underlying bill. Still, it would face an uphill battle in the Senate if it cleared the House. So with a healthy dose of bipartisan support for the release of these files, and even just a handful of Republicans voting with the majority of Democrats on anything is significant these days, Speaker Johnson's going to have to do some explaining if he insists on protecting the files and everyone in them, including the president. overall, this story actually makes me feel better about these things, just generally speaking. I'm recording this on Wednesday. The rapture was supposed to happen yesterday. It didn't, and that's good, I guess. I don't know, or just like nothing has changed. But Jimmy Kimmel is back for the most part on the air. Trump and his administration are polling horribly. And I don't know, like maybe I'm just a little bit delusional, or maybe my brain is exhausted, but I'm not even that worried about all of this weird Christo nationalist rhetoric that is coming from the right, or about that insane speech that Stephen Miller gave that he plagiarized from a Nazi, or about the explicit politicization, not to mention all of the wholly unnecessary pyrotechnics of Charlie Kirk's memorial, or about the president's incoherent ramblings about Tylenol and his efforts to, one, blame yet another ill of society on women, and two, make life even more difficult for pregnant women. Just all of it is so insane. But things are starting to feel different for the first time in a really long time. And I'm sorry, I don't know that I'm going to really be able to articulate that, except to say that we are seeing more and more people fed up with the constant fighting. We are seeing people push back against the things that are being said and done by this administration. We're seeing former Trump supporters who had been very vocal and very influential in their support now being very vocal about how much they don't want to be associated with him and how much they don't approve of the things that he and his administration are doing. And this whole thing with the rapture, okay, let me just say, spiritual corners of YouTube and social media are always super interesting. You can find yourself in several rabbit holes all at once, but for the most part, however they happen to interpret what is going on in the world, they all seem to want the world and its people to get back to a place of peace and happiness. And I said get back to a place as if we ever were in that place, but that always is the goal. And I'm not necessarily talking about the influencers themselves. I still think that they are generally quite dangerous, but the people who follow them do so because they are seeking some kind of guidance in their lives. It's the same reason why people turn to religion, because they need to believe in something bigger than themselves and bigger than this world, because they understand that this world and this life that we're all living collectively is just not it. What I would like to see happen is that the energy that is put into dissociating, which in this case looks like prepping for the rapture, I would like for that energy to be put back into actually making this world a better place for the people living here, living now. I want it back in communities. I want us off of our phones. I want us fighting back against corporations the way we all did against the Disney Corporation. I want human connection, and I really don't think that I'm the only one who wants these things. If a great awakening is actually coming, like so many people in the spiritual corners of social media keep saying that it is, then maybe this is what it looks like. Maybe this is what that feels like. Maybe it's the result of us all just being so worn down and exhausted and depleted to the point that we all just had to take a step back and wake ourselves up from this weird 10-year haze that we have all just been coexisting in. After all, nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen, all right? That's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.